Hey guys, a few more points in reading to cover here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about predicting, give you a little bit more in-depth of a look at it so that you can see what I meant in the previous video. So first, we said there were two types of predicting. One is from memory and one is by finding the exact line of the passage that supports the right answer. So let me show you what I mean. Let's look at question 2 here. Let me show you what it's like to predict. So the main purpose of the opening sentence of the passage is to. So maybe I remember, and I'm like, what the opening sentence of the passage was. So I could do it from memory. I'm like, I don't know, to introduce the story. Whatever. Honestly, any prediction is better than no prediction. But I could also go back and find the exact line of the passage that supports the right answer. So here they're kind of telling us, go back to the opening sentence. So let's go back to the opening sentence. And it's right up here. You can see it says, no man likes to acknowledge that he has made a mistake in the choice of his profession, and every man worthy of the name will long row against wind and tide before he allows himself to cry out, I am baffled. Okay, and it goes on to describe basically a very painful, difficult living situation and working situation that he had. So I think the purpose is just to, I don't know, describe the suffering he's having in this work situation. All right, there's my prediction. Now I get to look at the answers. And you get to see me cross out wrong answers. So, A, establish the narrator's perspective on a controversy. I do not think this is a controversy. I'm going to cross out the word controversy. Provide useful context useful in understanding the narrator's emotional state. That sounds good to me. I like it. I think it's describing his struggle. This whole piece is, and that opening sentence is too. C, offered a symbolic representation of Edward Crimsworth's plight. So Crimsworth is the boss. Symbolic representation. Let me just make sure. Crimsworth is the boss. Yeah. So it's not the boss's plight. It's kind of a symbolic representation of the narrator's plight, rowing against the tide, etc., but not Crimsworth. So we're going to cross out Edward Crimsworth because it's not his plight. And then D, contrast the narrator's good intentions with his malicious conduct. I don't think he had any malicious conduct. He did have good intentions, not malicious conduct. So that's the part I cross out in D. So there it is. Prediction, finding the exact line in the passage that supports the answer, if you can, and crossing out the exact words that make answers wrong. So that shows you predictions. Now, I want to show you a particular type of question that only shows up on the SAT. And we call these paired questions or evidence-based questions. And so you'll see that question 10 says, which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question, 9. What you want to do on these, and there's going to be like 5 or 6 of these through the whole, maybe 10 even, through the whole reading section on the SAT, where first question is a normal question, and the second question is about saying which lines of the passage support the answer to the previous question. So when you see these, what you want to do, cover the answers to the first question, and you're going to predict. But the places you're going to go to predict are the 4 places in the following question's answers. And so you can just go to each of those 4 places and see if they answer the question that answer the previous question. And then that'll be a prediction. So we'll try this. Let's see, should we try this here? Sure. Question 9. The passage indicates that after a long day of work, the narrator sometimes found his living quarters to be blank. All right, A, 17 to 21. Let's see if that answers the question as we look at A to question 10, lines 17 to 21. I should have spent in every side by which my heart might have ventured to intimate its distress and the closeness, smoke, monotony, and joyless tumult of big and close. And its panting desire for freer and fresher scenes. Okay, what is it? After found his living quarters to be. Let's see, is that about being after a long day of work? Those lines don't mention after a long day of work, so I'm not loving A there. Let's look at B, lines 21 to 23. I should have set up the image of duty, the fetish of perseverance in my small bedroom at Mr. King's lodgings. No, it's not that. 64 to 67. Okay. Thoughts, not varied but strong, occupied my mind. 2 voices spoke within me. Again, they uttered the same monotonous phrases. One said, William, your life is intolerable. No, I don't think it's that. 68 to 74. I walked fast, for it was a cold, frosty night in January. As I approached my lodgings, I got turned from a general view of my affairs to particular speculations of whether my fire would be out. Looking outward, looking towards the window of my sitting room, I saw no cheering red gleam. Sometimes found is the word quarters to be. All right, so that doesn't do it. I'm starting to like A, 17 to 21 again. Let's go back and check that out. Let's just see if the lines before suggest that this is how the narrator is feeling after a long day of work, as question 9 says. We'll start at 14. I should have endured in silence the rest and care of my best faculties. I should not have whispered, even inwardly, that I longed for liberty. I should have pent in every sigh. Let's go back up. Let's see what he's talking about here. So let's go back up to line 6. From the first week of my residence in X, I felt my occupation irksome. Okay. Let's see, 17. I should have pent in every sigh by which my heart might have ventured to intimate its distress in the closeness, smoke, monotony, and joyless tumult. So I guess the closeness, smoke, monotony, and joyless tumult, the big one close, I guess that is describing the living quarters. After a long day of work. Let's just double check, because that still doesn't really mention a long day of work. I don't like 21 to 23. And then 64 to 67. Let's check that one last time. We'll read a little bit above it. I received my first quarter's wages and was returning my lodgings with heart and soul with the pleasant feeling that the master would pay me. Okay, got it. The long day of work sometimes found as living. I think I like 17. Answer choice A and 10. That is lines 17 to 21. I should have penned every side by which my heart would eventually induce. Distress and the closeness, smoke, monotony, and joyless tumult of big and close. So I think that's what it's like. It's boring. It's joyless. All right, we finally got our prediction. Let's check the answers to 9. Yeah, I like B. Dreary. It is looking dreary. 17 to 21. Under the closeness, smoke, monotony, and joyless tumult. That's definitely dreary. Yeah, these questions can be tough. It's not treacherous. It's not dangerous. It's not predictable. That's not what they said. It didn't say it was intolerable. Definitely dreary. So our answers here, after all that work, and these questions can take a bunch of work. Our answers are B for 9 and A for 10. And so here's what you do on these questions. Cover the answers in the first one. And then go to the places in the following question to look for the right answer and make that your prediction for the first question. Then you get to look at the answers in the first question, and you will it'll be easy for you to pair the answer you choose with the lines in the following question. These questions are tough. And sometimes what will happen if you don't predict in this way, you'll find yourself liking one answer for one question, but it doesn't match the lines in the next answer, and you just get really confused. So trust me on this process. Cover the answers in the first question. Look for your prediction to it in the 4 places given by the following question, and then you'll be able to get both answers at once. So this type of question only exists on the SAT. They don't have this on the ACT. Now here's the thing. What you need to do before you start the entire reading section is to look ahead and circle all the paired questions. This is before you read any of the passages. And the reason is, you see 12 and 13 here as another paired question. If you don't circle these questions ahead of time, what can happen is you'll get caught answering the first question, not realizing that the following question gives you the lines to go look for the answer. And sometimes the first question will be on one page and the evidence-based question with the line numbers you need to go look for is on the following page. That happens often. So you want to go ahead and circle all these questions ahead of time so that you'll catch them and know that in the question after, you're going to get the 4 places to go look for the answer to the first question. All right, so that is the SAT paired questions technique. Give it your best. These questions are really annoying before you know this technique, but once you know this technique, you'll actually like them more because rarely are you given 4 places in the text to go look for the answer. It makes it easier to find, actually, especially when you use this approach.